fact there are more non-straight characters here than at San Francisco Pride. God, do I really have to comment on this. The depth of these characters is about the same as a puddle of piss on the sidewalk. What the actual hell was that? Riders, are you for real? So in the HH abbreviation a hint of Heil Hitler? Isn't this LGBT propaganda for kids?
Racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, anti-Semitism.
Welcome back to the most politically correct and glamorous hellscape in history. In the first part of my review of Hazbin Hotel's second season, we talked about how from a critical standpoint, this thing is a total train wreck. Cheap animation that makes you want to bleach your eyes, cringe-inducing musical numbers every 5 minutes, a plot full of holes and illogical twists. In short, if you haven't seen it, I recommend checking it out for context. In this video, as promised, we're going to dig into not the surface level stuff, but the heavy-handed leftist agenda this cartoon is absolutely packed with. Well, let's not beat around the bush and get right to the first point, a mindless and ruthless feminism, but a special one. It's not built on female strengths, but on the complete impotence and spinelessness of men. Look at this constellation of alpha males. Lucifer, the king of hell, also former high angel. Alastor, the most powerful sinner and overlord. And Abel, the fourth human and commander of a ruthless exorcist corps. But Lucifer apparently can't harm sinners, so he spent almost the entire second season in his pajamas in his apartment, watching dark-themed soap operas. How could they even appoint him warden of this whole zoo and strip him of any means of control? We've been clearly shown the Hell's population is mostly a dumb herd of lowlifes who only understand bread and circuses. They speak the language of force. And if they decide to rebel, as season 2 showed is quite possible, how is he supposed to put them in their place and show who's boss? By the way, this is the lamest, most unconvincing Lucifer I can remember. He's light years away from the contemptuous Mark Pellegrino or sex guru Tom Ellis. That's what the most depressed losers looks like from the outside, not Guts or Ryan Gosling. Then there's castrated Alastor. Since the pilot, they've been hyping him up as a mighty mysterious force, but in season 2, besides licking his wounds like a beaten dog and being tied to a chair, it turns out the most powerful sinner in Pentagram City is also Rosie's lackey, doing whatever she says like an obedient puppy. Abel goes in the same basket. Inheriting command on the heavenly host from his father, at a critical moment, all he can offer is candy and bailing from tough conversation, dumping all responsibility on Sarah. Thus, the characters who are supposed to drive the plot are just standing on the sidelines, doing jack shit. Essentially, all the plot, all the struggle, all the problem solving is carried by women. In hell is Charlie, fighting against corrupt media and public apathy to get her redemption project going. In heaven is Sarah, who has to make an incredibly tough decision amidst already strained relations with the neighbors in hell. And yet, these strong women are written as classic hysterics. Charlie is on the verge of a nervous breakdown every 5 minutes, crying, panicking, breathing into a paper bag, screaming. Sarah is an uptight perfectionist who cracks under pressure. You get the impression that for Vivienne Medrano, a strong woman is one who takes all responsibilities and then cries in the corner from stress, while the men around her do what? Make stupid faces. Moving on to LGBTQ+ themes. Given YouTube's sensitivity to such topics, as in the first part, I'll say it upfront, Vivienne Medrano can draw whatever characters and write whatever story she wants in her cartoon. That's her right, I'm still not taking that away from her. But as a viewer, I have the right to speak my mind about what I don't like or what straight up pisses me off. So, the LGBTQ+ stuff. Besides the fact there are more non-straight characters here than at San Francisco Pride, sometimes their sexuality is their one and only defining trait, and their entire personality. In literature and film, characters are created to drive the plot, evoke emotions in the viewer, explore themes and conflicts, and serve as a tool to convey the director's and writer's ideas. Watching Hazbin Hotel, you start to think the characters here weren't created for any of that, but just to show as many sexual deviations and genders as possible onto the screen. And the creators managed to do it in a pretty fucked up way. As often happens in the pursuit of an ideological agenda, ticking boxes become more important than plot or character development. And to be specific, take Charlie and Vaggie. They are a poster child couple ready for the Pride Parade. They look like they were designed by an inclusivity committee. And in the second season, they have about as much chemistry as two mannequins in an IKEA display. There's zero tension between them. Vaggie in season 1 at least had something going on. A fallen angel who paid everything she had for a moment of compassion, carrying the trauma into her new life in hell. In season 2, she's basically just Charlie's queer-friendly accessory. Her personal arc, her development independent of Charlie, forget about it. Their relationship feels cardboard and sterile. There was one lame domestic lesbian conflict, but it was resolved so predictably and cheesily Obviously, you just wanna yell, go ahead and have some sex, and calm down, we've got Vox about to blow up the neighbors with his cannon. The result? It's all smoothed over with the scissors. And by the way, I didn't really get one bit. Vaggie's whole season-long attempt to change the name Adam gave her, is it supposed to be a metaphor for transgender people trying to transition, because their evil parents gave them wrong body, or what? Anyway, it's just some stale, crappy writing.
This seems like a you problem, machine.
Another prime example, Angel Dust. In the first part, we establish he is a completely pointless character, who barely affects the plot. On the top of that, his entire personality begins and ends with him being a walking gay stereotype, put into a silicone mold. He's like a caricature a homophobic grandpa would draw trying to depict one of those showbiz types. His whole romantic arc with Husk, god do I really have to comment on this, it's not a story of growth or overcoming, it's two teenagers who scared to admit they like each other at the school dance. And the tragedy they're trying to show down our throats is also nonsense. He's suffering because Valentino treats him like trash. But why? It's simple. This dumbass sold his soul to a pimp to become, get this, the most famous porn star in hell. Well, no shit, Sherlock. The guy traded the most valuable thing he had for peanuts like a total sucker, and now we're supposed to feel sorry for him. What kind of person do you have to be to sympathize with that? Holy hell, the depths of these characters are about the same as a puddle of piss on the sidewalk. And episode 6 with Angel's drag queen musical number. What the actual hell was that? Writers, are you for real? When I watched that episode for this script, I was on the bus after the gym, and my only thought was praying nobody saw this garbage on my screen. If I were watching porn, I'd be less embarrassed, seriously. Or another lame gay drama. In season 2 episode 4, they finally revealed the origin of Alastor and Vox feud that's been going since season 1. Turns out, Vox with some heavy subtext offered Alastor to join forces and become, partners, to which Alastor, being a sexual and romantic, of course rejected and mocking him in his usual style. Wow, what a shocker! Who could guess that a sexual person isn't sexually attracted to someone? Conflict of the century! This is up there with Batman vs Joker in Nolan's universe or Sherlock vs Moriarty, I tell you. Against the backdrop of all of these LGBT dramas, a question arises, where are the other sinners? Among heterosexual characters, at least in Hell, the only one spotted in season 2 was Katie Killjoy during Charlie's TV meltdown. Like, having LGBTQ+ characters in Hell, maybe not in such insane numbers, is somewhat understandable. They don't exactly welcome butt stuff or scissoring in heaven. But heaven rejects people for more than that. The Holy Bible has a whole list of reasons for going to hell. Do your lore homework. A certain Austrian artist, whose name I forgot, remind me in the comments please, was definitely not LGBTQ+ friendly, and they shot him into hell out of turn, despite the sinful suicide.
Michael! Don't leave me here! Michael! Michael! Help me!
Looking at all these, let's pause for a second and examine the hellish setting itself. What do we even know about hell? In any universe that mentions it, it's made clear, this is not where you'd want to spend a weekend with the guys. Hell is a Satan's all-season residence and a godforsaken pit, where the souls of all sorts of scum are doomed to eternal suffering for the crowd they pulled in life. But judging by what's going on, this version of the underworld feels less like that and more like some sunny California from a teen series. There's a developed service and entertainment industry, strip clubs, cocktail bars, trendy cafes, internet, TV, mobile service, gadgets. No torture, except maybe the torture of bad music and junk animation. Instead of suffering, sinners make friends, hook up and party. Hell, they have a full-blown social life, often more exciting than your average office worker on earth. This isn't hell, it's a metaphor for liberal paradise, where you're not punished for your sins, but offer therapy and a cocktail called Harder Daddy. Instead of boiling tar, a soy milk cappuccino. Instead of devils with pitchforks, fanboys and furies. Essentially, local heaven is the lifestyle, values and entertainment for under 18s, and hell is for 18+. Given this overdose of SJW content per square inch, I think there is no doubt which side of the political aisle Vivienne Medrano leans towards. But what if I told you it wasn't always like that, and Vivi Pop was actually involved in a scandal related to far-right leanings? Digging around online a bit, I found out that in 2016 she posted art inspired by The satirical Nazi song from the producers. The art contained anti-Semitic slurs. It was later deleted, of course, but the internet remembers everything, damn it. Or another, in the 2020s, Vivienne posted a meme mocking homophobes watching her shows. To save space on the picture, she abbreviated the show title to HH for Hazbin Hotel and HB for Helluva Boss. And all hell broke loose. The Twitter mob saw in the HH abbreviation a hint of Heil Hitler, got offended, and immediately flooded Viv with tons of hate. Classic Twitter. Build your own so strangers fear you, as they say. I think at this point we can draw final conclusions about season 2. Besides weak and cheap execution, like Chinese toys from the 90s, the series is also starved with leftist agendas and narratives. And this rainbow-colored nonsense isn't an episodic moment like Will's coming out in Stranger Things. It's the cornerstone the entire plot and key moments are built on. The screaming feminism made the plot stupid in places. Those who should be driving it are busy doing jack shit, and those who actually have to drive it are clearly over their head. Just the fact that Charlie has a near breakdown every episode shows how stupid it was for her to take everything on her shoulders. The overwhelming amount of LGBTQ+ themes per square inch causes more a repulsive reaction. Casual viewers feel like they're being lectured, not told a story. In the rush to present minorities as regular people just like us with a different orientation, they ended up cringe and almost meaningless, and their romantic relationships, in attempt to seem bold and daring, just come off as awkward and empty. At the same time, the work itself walks a fine line between being silly and aggressively pushing an agenda. Given the colorful attention-grabbing animation, Disney-esque musical numbers every 5 minutes, and simply presentation with over-the-top expressions, a nagging thought creeps in. Isn't this LGBT propaganda for kids? Just thinking out loud. Or maybe not. That's all for now. Hit the like button if you also don't know what jambalaya is, and write in the comments the name of that Austrian artist I forgot. This was Cherpak at the mic, see you soon, comrades.